Hey guys, we have our hip prep series for you, for anybody with tight hips. This is a full, pretty lengthy sequence. If there's one or two movements in there that you really feel some maybe pain with, or something that feels like it's actually working to improve your mobility in your hip, you can focus on that regularly. Try to do this 1 or 2 times a week if you have regular hips. If you have tight hips, maybe 3 times a week or more. But again, find things that work for you. I'm going to go through the entire sequence. We're going to start off with 10 basic air squats, and we're going to do 10 air squats at the end and see if we feel any difference. Okay? At the end, I want you to ask yourself if it feels the better, same, or worse. Okay? So starting at the beginning, we're just going to do 10 basic air squats, heels shoulder width apart, toes pointed out about 30 degrees. Okay? And we're going to do just good, perfect squats. Keep the stomach tight, knees pushed out, good depth. At the bottom of my last squat, I'm going to hold that active position. Okay? So I'm going to stay just below parallel. I'm actively shoving the knees out really hard, nice and tight, weights in my heels. Alright? Hold that for a couple seconds, and then relax down into the bottom. Okay? From here, I'm not going to let my feet move, and I'm going to shove my knees out with my elbows and jam my arms in between my knees. So again, don't let those feet slide. I don't want to see this when you do it. Keep the feet right where you were squatting. Push the knees out, hold it there, and then you're going to pick the butt back up into an active position. Hold that position nice and hard. Shove the knees out as far as you can. Don't let the feet slide. And sit back down one more time. And relax here. Once we're here, we're going to do something called pigs on ice skates. Maintaining that position, push your hands on your head, keeping the knees out over the toes. You're going to go for a walk. Keep the heels flat, so you're going to walk little steps. Right? Walk like that. So you can go forward a couple steps, try to turn back around. Alright, remember this is to warm up your hip. I don't want to see people on their toes, right? Also, if this hurts your knees or you have meniscus issues, you don't need to walk, you just kind of rock back and forth, but keep those knees out over the toes, right? Just kind of hop back and forth, loosen the hips up. And when you stand up, put your hands down, bring your butt up first. That takes the pressure off your knees, okay? So that's knees to elbows and pigs on ice skates, okay? So, moving in from there, we're going to do something for the hip capsule. We're going to work out the Gristle, okay? So, this move starts, for balance, you can put your hands on the ground. We're going to bring one leg straight, one foot flat on the ground. And what I'm going to do first is pull my butt back to straighten my shin and grind through my hip from one side over the other side to the opposite position. Okay? Again, pull the shin back to vertical, keep the hips low as you can, grind through the other side, and repeat. Okay? We're going to do that each side 2 or 3 times. Again, pull that shin back to vertical, straight across. What we want to avoid is missing the hips by just letting the hips come up and over, right? Hips up and over. You're not getting what you want to do there. You want to grind through that bottom position. Okay? Right from there, if you do that 2 or 3 times each side, you can step into what's known as the Groiner position. Okay? This is about a push-up position, and you're going to bring one foot up on the outside of both of your feet. From here, we're going to make small circles in the hip. Okay? You can do each direction 3 times or so, and then you're going to weight the hands, jump, and switch to the other side. Make some small circles each direction, jump, and switch. Okay, we're going to do each side 3 times. If you struggle to jump and switch, you can step back and bring that foot forward. Okay, but again, small circles, focus on that hip. Okay, that's called a groiner. So, moving on from there, we're going to do a little bit of lunge work. So what I want you to do is think about your pelvis as a bowl of water. You want to keep this nice and neutral. You don't want to spill forward or back, right? We're going to pull one knee up to the chest, squeeze the stomach super tight, pull that knee up as high as you can, and land out in a lunge position. Nice high position, feel balance here. Hold that for 3 to 4 seconds, and then we're going to drop ourselves deeper into a squat. Hold that for 5 seconds. Good. Walk yourself back up. Switch legs. Squeeze the stomach tight. Keep the pelvis neutral. Pull that knee up as high as you can. Oop, lost my balance. Land. Nice high position. Good balance. Pelvis neutral. Hold that for a couple seconds. Then drop deep down into that lunge position. Hold it for 5 seconds. Again, try to focus on that pelvis neutral. And walk yourself back up. So, that is the lunge position, okay? From here, we're going to try to focus on that torso positioning as we squat. So we're going to bring both of our hands up over our head, put the hands together. Our feet are going to stay in squat stance, and we're going to try to maintain this very upright, tight position as we squat, okay? So, try to bring yourself all the way down to the bottom, drive those hands up, and we're going to do this 5 times. Work for that torso upright. Last one, keeping the hands up overhead. I'm now going to bring my feet so they're perfectly together and try to do the same thing. People with limited mobility will struggle. Keep the heels down on the ground, keep the feet flat. Try to come all the way down and back up. We're going to do that 5 times. One more. Good. So that's the 2 hands overhead and 2 feet together movements. Last thing we have before we retest is our over and under the fence or over under the laser beam move. What we're going to do, this is much like the Gristle, that hip capsule work, is we're going to imagine there's a line here or a fence. What we want to do is take a big step over that fence, turn back to where you started, and then duck under that imaginary line, okay? Watch again. Watch how my hips stay low. I'm going to take a big step over, turn back to where I started, duck everything under, and bring your feet back together. What we want to avoid is that lazy step over, and then just ducking your head under, right? You want to make sure you get the hips involved, okay? That's the last thing. So you're going to do that 2 or 3 times each side as well. So that's the over-under move, okay? And then in the end, after we've done all these things, you want to do your initial 10 squats again and see how those hips feel. Ask yourself, is it the better, same, or worse? You might feel a little bit inflamed if you're really tight, but the hips should feel like it's moving around a little bit more freely, allowing you to squat a little bit better, okay? So back to those 10 squats. Good. I'm not going to do all 10, but that's it, okay? That whole series again is called the hip prep, and it's a relatively involved long sequence. Find 1 or 2 moves in there that work well for you and focus on them daily if you have tight hips. Otherwise, something to do once or twice a week. Hope you enjoyed. Comments if you have any questions. Thanks.